It's not a very good idea to shake a lot of hands right now, considering COVID and all that. But this COVID situation will also come to an end. We will get back to shaking hands, meeting people, building relationships. With that said, one way to come out of this quarantine smarter is to understand how to use Handshake. In fact, if you watch till the end of the video, I am going to be teaching you something amazing. You are going to be learning how to use handshakes to control how other people feel about you, to persuade and influence people. So keep watching. Hello guys, welcome to Models of Excellence, where we teach you tools, strategies, techniques and models to help you lead an excellent life. Have you ever shook hands with a person and made judgment about them? You have, haven't you? Either you've done it or you're lying, because we all do it. Right? If you say you haven't done it, it will be happening subconsciously. So now what you need to do is you have to understand how to use this handshake to work for you. Now, how do you do it? Remember this. There are three things that you can do to influence people, to create a positive impression about you. First one is pressure. Second one is position. Third one is temperature. So let's start with the first one. First one is pressure. So you hold someone's hand and someone squeezes your hand very hard in their handshake. For them it might be normal. What would you feel? When I asked this question to a lot of people, they told me one thing. They said, I felt dominated, or I just felt very uncomfortable. Why? Because you felt the other person was more dominating than you. Now, have you ever shook hands with a person and that person hand was like what we call the dead fish handshake? No energy in it. They just give you the hand and you just hold it like you're holding some non-living thing. What did you feel when that happened? When I asked a lot of people this, they told me one thing. They said they felt like the other person wasn't interested, or they felt like they had control over the other person. Now, have you ever shook hands with someone equal pressure and you felt great? You didn't feel dominated, you didn't feel uncomfortable, you felt fairly good. Has that happened to you? Right? Or you won't know whether it felt good because you don't really care about it. Right? You just shake hand and then you just get to the work. Now, what can you do about it? So when you are going to be shaking a person's hand, remember one thing. Give equal pressure. Now, if you want to dominate them, then give more pressure. If you want to make them feel good, if you want to make them feel like they are dominating, for example, your boss, if they feel intimidated by you, don't give a dead fish handshake. Your boss might think that you're not interested, but give a handshake where you are applying lesser pressure than your boss. And your boss feels like he's dominating. And both of you go home happy. The second way to use handshake is position. Now, have you seen Planet of the Apes movie? There was a scene where one of the monkeys was dominant, right? And this one of the ape walks, and then the other ape had just done a mistake, and that ape goes down and gives the hand like this. The ape who they all listen to, the king ape, puts its hand on top of that ape like this, and that ape feels like he was forgiven, right? So what do you understand from this? Remember, people who are dominant, their hand position is like this. Who wants to show dominance at least? So people who are submissive, like the ape, hand comes like this. Your palms are facing upwards. People who are equal, it's not this or this. So when you're giving shake hand to someone, try to maintain this position. Like give them a handshake like this. If you move it up, which it shows that you are trying to dominate or you're more dominant. If you put if you face your palms upward, it shows that you're submissive. So most of the times, the best thing to do is to give a position that is neutral. Your palms are not facing upwards, or it's not even facing downwards. Now, if you want to dominate, once again, put your hands, position hands in such a way that your palms are facing downwards. If you want to be submissive, put your palms facing upwards. So that is the second way to use handshake. The third way to use handshake is the temperature. So there was this researcher who was curious to know how temperature affects how people, what people think about you or what people feel about you. So they made two groups. First group went into the room, getting their hands cold. Now before they walked into a room, they held a cold temperature drink, and they walked into the room with cold hands, and they started networking. The second group of people, they held a warm temperature or a hot temperatured drink for a while, and then they walked into the room and they started networking with their warm hands. Who do you think built more trust? Who do you think people saw positively? Warm, right? See, you subconsciously know it. When you say warm, it's positive. It's a good feeling. When you say someone's cold, they're distant or you can't connect with them. It just feels weird. And that is exactly what happened. People who shook hands with their cold hands, they were seen as cold, a bit distant, or not able to connect. People who had warm hands, they were more trustworthy. They were rated more trustworthy. It was more comfortable and positive to speak to them. So next time when you're going into a networking meeting or when you're going to meet some people, try to rub your hands, make your hands a bit warmer than usual, and then shake their hands. They will have a much more positive first impression on you or about you. Now with that said, guys, this is something that's very fun to use. Go ahead, try it out. Just don't shake a lot of hands now. Just keep it within your circle. Let's all keep each other safe. With that said, if you felt like you learned something, leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and also just tap that bell button if you want to get notified every time we put out amazing videos like this. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.